Alright guys, welcome back. Fast E-Bikes. We're going to be changing the Talaria MX4 front tire. I already changed the MX4's rear tire. This is just a refresher if you've already done tire changes in the past, and it might have been a while, a couple years. So it's just a lot easier tire in my opinion than a regular dirt bike tire, because these rear tires are hard because they're thicker rubber, they're heavier duty, they're heavier, and it's hard to pry those guys on there, especially that last bite. So I'm going to show you how to do it and not fight the tire so much, and show you some tricks, tips of tire changing, checking your spokes, making sure this thing is ready to go for every single ride, okay? So step one, we're going to get your tire off your bike. If you haven't already seen that, check out my other videos about how to load a bike in a car, SUV, taking the tires off and saving the most room. So in step one, take your tire off. Go ahead, save your axle bolts. You're going to take your cap off. By the way, we're replacing it with the Dunlop MX34F. Check that out. MX34F. Hope there's not too much glare. I would highly recommend this size tire because it weighs like a bicycle tire. It's so freaking light. I don't have a scale at home. I would weigh it for you. I would guesstimate 5 pounds, maybe 6, 7. I don't think it's much more than 5 or 6 pounds, honestly. And just guessing, my guesstimate. So I think this is going to be a really good tire. Again, 70, 100, 19, and I put, obviously 19s on both tires, but they're also going to be, I like these skinny, lightweight tires. So we're going to compare this weight just by feel and hold the other tire when it's off with this new tire, and just kind of feel how much, if it's similar or if it's way off, and this tire is way heavier. I have a feeling it's going to be a pound and a half heavier, so we'll see. So the tools you're going to need for this job, not only your 2 hands, but, oh, here comes Bo, stealing the shot. Photobomb. I got 3 spoons. I got 2 similar spoons. They're from Motion Pro. Highly recommend these. I think they're like $20 to $40. So, and then we got, this is an old Motion Pro I've had for probably 15 years or almost 20 years now. I might have stolen this one from my dad, I don't remember. Anyway, so you get your spoons ready. And the last tool you're going to need, well, you don't need it, but it's nice to have, is a stem tool remover. It has this little keyway right there. It goes in your stem, and you just unscrew it, and it lets the air out way faster. It saves a little time. So I'm going to go ahead. I took my cap off, my little red cap. I'm going to take this locking nut, set it to the side. I did not buy a new tube, but we're just going to hope we don't pop it, because we're trying to go ride after this. Going to go down to Hangtown, hit Prairie City, hit the practice track. It's been raining. It's the best time to ride. Look at that. You have to sit there with a stick or a rock and wait for 10 minutes to get all that air out completely. So it's much easier, and I leave it out. Put it somewhere you're not going to lose it. And put it right below my bench here. Put it in your pocket, wherever's safe. But, so this thing's all the way out of air. What you're going to do is break the bead by pushing down. So you just go around the tire, flip it over, and I'm using my work surface as another tire. A used tire came off this truck, and it's just laying around the yard kind of thing. Excuse me. So what you want to do is have a nice, you don't want to work on the ground, you don't want to work on a table or a bench, it's kind of hard. If you have a 5-gallon bucket or a 2-gallon bucket or some sort of flat surface like a box, a big sturdy box, it's nice to have something resting on the tire part, not the rim to scratch it, not the spokes to scratch it. And you want to work, after you break the bead, you want to work with the disc down like that. So you're not busting your knuckles on the disc, because if I started on this side and used my wrenches to pry, I'm going to hit my knuckles, or I could hit my knuckles on this disc. So start on the other side. All right, air's out. I start at the, there's a lot of different people's options or ideas of where to start. I start at the valve, but I start next to it. I don't start on top of it. I go adjacent to it on either side. So I'm just gonna push it down with my finger, push that rim down a little bit. Now slide in my spoon. It's not a real spoon, don't eat with it. So I can already feel a lot of tension, right? So it doesn't want to go. Here's your little trick. It's stuck, right? This is your first bite. So that's what they call it. So what you're gonna do is just keep working this tire, squeeze this tire together and get it really far down inside the rim. So what you're doing, getting that sidewall on both sides in the center of that tire. So you can grab another spoon. I didn't even have to push it, pretty much went itself. So what I'm gonna do now is hold that and start another. I'm gonna go over the valve. So I'm just kind of forcing it in there, but not too hard. I'm kind of also looking, make sure I have a good bite. It's not too much of a bite where I'm gonna tear the tube. So bam, really easy. And it's because we push down on this stuff and it sinks into the rim, the center of that rim, and gives you just that tiny little bit difference is huge. It makes it so you're not fighting yourself. So here's your third one, or you can use your second one. This one's loose, but I'll just, since I have a third one, maybe I should show it too. I don't know. That's okay. We'll just keep going. So you don't want to do huge bites at first. You want to work it. This is probably 4 or 5 inches, 6 inches. You don't want to go too far. It's kind of all about feeling if it's going to pry easily. But if you give too much bite, the inner lip is going to fight you. So you just got to do small bites at first. So bam, really easy. What is that? Just some dirt. Good thing I'm taking it off. I can clean it. So that doesn't matter anymore. So just after that, everything is really easy. You can just work your way around. And just remember, push that tire, squeeze it all the way around from the opposite side that you're prying against. I can just work with 1 spoon or 2. I just keep flopping side to side each turn though. Helps me. Bam, easy, easy. And when you let all that air out of your tube, it's also gonna help not pop because it's gonna give you more room for your spoons. So now I can do bigger bites. I can do about 6, 7, 8 inches, and it just comes right off. Bam, easy. Next step, after you get the first side, this lip off the tire, you're gonna pull that tube out because we're gonna pull the tire off completely. So you're gonna find your stem. Where'd you go? There it is. All right. So I push in the stem and then get my hands in there, my fingers anyway, and just kind of pull it out like that. And then you're gonna slowly work your way all the way around very carefully. You don't want to tear it, get it all bound up and muscle it out, and then you gotta go buy a $20 tube. But I do want to experiment. I know you guys are kind of make fun of me. I'm gonna do another video of the front tire only, and I might try the rear too, I'm not gonna lie, with a 19-inch bicycle tire because it's lighter weight. Because this isn't heavy, but it's probably a pound and a half. Kind of, yeah. I think I can reduce that by half. So it'll help the power to weight ratio when I'm accelerating for sure. So this is easier now. We got that lip off. You can see the rims just kind of hanging there. So real simple. I'm gonna keep working on it, but this time I'm gonna go ahead and stand it up. You can kind of you might be able to be strong enough to just pull it apart. So I'm just starting from the top, and I'm just literally pulling it apart. But if you can't, if it's stuck on there, you get your wrenches on. This is the rotor side, so the opposite side, and you pry it off. And then you just keep going and prying and prying. But this tire is the stock Talaria tire, so it's really flimsy. It's pretty light. So here we go, got a rim. Just don't bend it or scratch it. Let's see what the weight is. Curious. Wow, that's literally the same. maybe a quarter, half pound or something lighter on this guy. But geez, I can't notice a difference, honestly. It's super hard. I literally can't feel a difference. That is cool. Okay. So, that was loud. Next up you're going to do is clean your rim. Because I'm lazy and didn't do it. Alright. Just get a rag, get some cleaner if you have it. I do have some cleaner. This might be good enough. Because I don't want it, that cleaner, I don't want to get it on my rotor, on my disc here. Because if I get cleaner on this thing, it's like having WD-40 on your brakes and you're just going to be slipping and sliding. It's not going to be as, and it's going to squeak. Oh, that's dirty. She's going to get real dirty today, though. I got my Talaria battery charging right now. That way I can go ride after I change tires. I'm just trying to get a quick video in. Basic maintenance, easy tire changes, chains, sprockets, testing, top speeds, reviews, etc. Whew, much better. So just get it where you want it. I'm just about to go get it dirty, so I'm just getting it basic clean. I'm not scrubbing it like a bicycle, because I'm going to come back and wash it. Not pressure wash it, but I'm going to wash it by hand. Probably get it wet, get all the mud off. Use a screwdriver, get the most mud off I can, and then rinse it softly with the hose. Done it before, no issues. There goes my spacer. Okay, here you go. Yeah, don't lose that. You need this. This is your spacer. Now it's dirty. So that's okay, we're gonna clean it, put some more grease on. And I'm gonna show you guys how to properly grease your axles and these spacers and the bearings inside. Yes, there's bearings in your wheel. They're called wheel bearings, surprisingly. And these wheel bearings will go out if you don't lubricate them. So, especially if you're a hard rider, a bigger rider, put more weight and strain on it. All right, let me grab something. Keep the grease. Alright guys, this is, so the Lucas Red and Tacky grease number 2. I'd say marine grease is great. It's very waterproof and it lasts the longest. This is just something I ordered offline. I think, 20 bucks, 15 bucks, something like that. It's lasted me a couple years. So highly recommend that. It's like a tub full of just grease. I like the red grease for some reason. But I need to clean this guy up better and then grease it up. Make sure my wheel's clean. Inside the bearing. What I'm going to do is just grab this and dip it like a donut until I get just enough grease. You don't want a ton, but you want enough. And you want to, because that is going to, here, I'll show you. So this goes inside, right? And it's gonna and you know which way it goes because there's one side only, and there's a rubber little groove here. And so what you're gonna do is spin it as you push in, and you gotta watch that little rubber gasket, make sure it doesn't pop halfway out and then seal all the way, because then you're gonna get dirt inside. Same thing with the other side. I'm just gonna clean off the disc. All right. Hold out the spacer. Give that guy a good little clean. You can use parts cleaner. In my opinion, it's not necessary. When you have rubber seals, it will wear them out and stretch them. Dry them out, I should say. Solvents will, such as gasoline, parts cleaner, brake cleaner, carb cleaner. Yeah, you can. I mean, I've been working on bikes since I was changing tires and changing my top ends of my dirt bikes, like 80s and 85s, since I was probably 12, 13 years old. I did my first bike by myself without my father helping, and bought all the parts and everything at 13. And yeah, so I'm 32 now, so I guess we got about 20 years experience, mechanical experience, and plenty of learning by mistake experience too. So you gotta make mistakes in order to learn. You can't learn by getting it right every time. All right, just a good amount of grease. Doesn't have to be crazy. And what this is doing, like I said, is keeping grease inside your wheel, your axle. You don't need to stick grease in there, but I'm going to. So before I even put this guy on, I grab my finger, stick it in there, give it a little bit, so the axle will have something to lubricate it, and it'll help your top speed, acceleration, overall range. And see, this gasket is starting to pop out, so you gotta be careful. So I'm gonna start over. All right, got it. I spin it as I push it in, so you're spinning and pushing. All right, we're ready for the new tire. So let's get this guy off. All right, a lot of people will use Windex, soapy water is good, even WD-40, but I don't like that idea because I don't have a rim lock, so you need something that'll dry. I'm probably just gonna wing it and see how she goes. Well, I guess I could put something on there. If it's not gonna work, I'm gonna try to show you how to do it dry, and then if that's too hard for you, grab some soapy water or a Windex. So you're gonna put the rim on the tire first. Here's where the the stem goes in right here. And so I gotta line up my this is like a rubber band strap. It protects the spokes from the rim so it doesn't make contact and possibly pop your tube. So on your tire, what you're gonna do, this is brand new, right? You're gonna look for an arrow. Is there a direction? Some tires have directional arrows. Here it is. I got a direction. Which way to go? Right there. Hopefully you can see that. So you see how there's an arrow right there? Okay, so that is the way it needs to be rolling. Okay, so we're gonna put it on the front wheel going this way. So that means my rotor, my front brake rotor, needs to be on the right side and not the left side. So pay attention. So here's my arrow. Don't lose it. You want your rotor on this side because you want it to roll this way. So your front brake's going to be on the left side. So what you're going to do, I can already tell it's going to be very fun dry, is you're just going to slide this guy in a slot the best you can and work both sides carefully. Try not to use spoons, but I'm probably gonna have to. Nice. Yeah, definitely gonna need my spoons for that one. Well, pushing down. There we go. Whew. No spoons required. That's nice. All right, you see how I put the rim in? the tire. And I'm not going to be working on the rotor side. See, that's on this side. I'm going to be able to put the tube in right here and work on this side, not bust my knuckles, so I can not hit that disc guard. So since we're putting in the tube, what I'm going to go ahead and do is put in the stem, the valve stem back in. Get all this dirt off and see like dog hair. Just make sure it's clean or it's gonna leak. Get your tool, tighten it up. We're gonna be putting a tiny bit of, well, you don't need too much air in this tire. If you're on a dirt bike and you're on a rear tire like this guy, you're gonna have a time putting that tire on, let me tell you something, even with soapy water or Windex. And what I'd recommend is putting a little air if you're having a hard time into just a little tiny bit. This is like pretty much flat. This has a tiny bit of air, it has a little shape. What you're trying to do is get a little shape out of it, but I'm just gonna wing it. I'm not gonna put a little air in it. I'll do that at the end when I pump it up. So go ahead and find, there you are. So I'm gonna find my valve. I always start on my valve stem. A lot of people start and do this part last. I can do that in another video. Just different techniques to change tires, put tubes in, such and such. In my opinion, it seems easier to do it this way. Could be wrong. All right. But in another video, I'll do the rear tire. And I'm going to show you how to put on a rim lock on the Talarias, because the rear tires do not come with rim locks like dirt bikes or other bikes. So you're going to grab your locking nut. Since I just got this in, so I just got that down. I'm going to go ahead and put that on so it doesn't go fall back in the rim and I can't find it after I get the tire on. Just put it on to just the top of it. It doesn't have to be all the way on. You can if you want. So now I'm just going to put the tube in carefully. I work one side at a time so the valve stem stays straight. Because if you just work one side all the way around, the valve stem is going to be crooked when you're done. So you just got to watch it. Keep an eye on it. So I'm just stuffing the rim, or excuse me, the tube in the rim. And I'm trying to make sure it's not popping out. I don't want it to. I want it to not get any bites from these guys, the spoons. Because these spoons are known to pop like the second to last or the last bite on a tire when you're changing. So it's annoying. So this time I'm going to start from the opposite of here. I'm going to end on the stem because I did it the opposite way when I took it off, so I'll show you how to put it on with the stem last. This is going to be my last bite. And again, so you got to be careful. This is already pinching a little bit. Keep that stuffed in the rim, just like that. You don't want to bite it. Okay, looks nice. All right, so, okay. So I'm gonna take my second spoon, just work my way around. And I'm gonna do a kind of like a larger bite, maybe 10 inches, just to start. That was super easy. The tire is kind of pushed into the center of the rim over here. So I'll take my first one, I'll hold it down, and I'm just gonna go do another small bite. That was probably like 3 or 4 inches. I'm gonna hold this tire, hold it with your hand like that so it doesn't come popping back up. And you're gonna want to go far over here and work your tire, or excuse me, your tire iron back in so you don't scratch your rim too much. Trying to just push it in and force it in, you're gonna scratch the heck out of it. So I'm just working my way from this side to this side to this side to this side, holding the tire. That's probably a 6-inch, 7-inch bite. I'm gonna do one more on this side. It's a little greedy on that side. Doing like a 4-inch bite right there. And I'm being very careful I don't get the tip of the spoon doesn't have any tube underneath, because you're prying and that tube's underneath, you're gonna put a hole in it, you're gonna puncture that. So you just gotta watch out. So hold that with your hand, unless it stays, which I doubt. You're gonna hold this down with either your knee, something. And you're gonna work your way up. So small bites, because you're getting more than halfway done. You can stand on it, put your knee on it, whatever you wanna do. I'm just gonna sit down. Changed too many tires in my day, I don't care. So I'm doing really small bites. It's kinda wanting to come off the rim, so kinda hard. I could use my third spoon. This is where it comes in handy, big time, especially these last few bites. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, let me bring it over here. So make sure that tube is not inside there. Cool. All right, I'm gonna hold that with my leg. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna work that tire, squeeze it, get it in the center. And that last bite is gonna be 100 way easier. So hold it with your foot or something. Not bad. Small bites. Get that spoon out. Hopefully I can make 2 out of this one. 2 bites out of this guy. But before I do that, I can feel my tube in there, and I'm not going to pinch it. Knock on wood. Cool. I'm going to use my third flat side, not the spoon side of my old one, so it doesn't scratch the rim as bad. Trying to pull it up a little bit. So just really careful in that last bite. Really careful. Slow is fast. So you don't want to pop a tube. So it's on the rim. So what we're gonna do is kind of center as best you can, because you're gonna pop it up, and you want that bead to seat. Let's take a rim lock, or excuse me, not a rim lock, a tire valve stem lock. We're gonna go pump this tire up, so I'll be right back in a few minutes. We're gonna see if it holds there. Thanks for watching.